we went to a couple toy shows. There were two sort of like back-to-back toy shows in the area.
Seeing all your favorite toys in one place, it's pretty awesome.
Well, that's like, what some of them are. It's kind of like a toy museum almost. You go there, and we did end up buying some stuff, but a lot of it is just kind of, oh, there's that, and oh, I wish I could have had that when I was a kid. Oh, I did have that, and I don't have it anymore.
And then you see, like, there was the one, I never had any Dino Riders, and I was like, oh, there's one I want. How much? The guy was like $750. I was like, ugh.
I'm always on the lookout for like Micronauts at these things, but the Micronauts are always like, they're priced ridiculously, and they're like so tiny. It's like, oh yeah, that's like $300, and it's like, it's nice. It's a sealed Micronaut, but like it's like this much plastic, maybe a little bit of die-cast metal, and it's like, I can't. Like I could pay like $100 for like a Megazord or something, but not.
Usually with a toy show, you don't leave without a giant. You'll usually will go with a huge, awesome robot to add to your collection. So I can't remember. It might have been. Was it the newer toy show or the older, the second one, the first one we went to? You got a Voltron.
I got Voltron. I got the It was like the Playmates Voltron, or it was the Panache Place Voltron. So this is like when I was a kid. I wanted this Voltron so bad. And I got the Black Lion. The Black Lion was like the biggest one when I was a kid. And I was like, I'm going to get every one of these motherfuckers. And I'm going to build and I'll form the head. Like, I'll get the full thing. And I just never got beyond the Black Lion. And my original Black Lion, like, I lost that years ago. I have no idea where that is. I still have Keith. I still have, like, the little red guy who, like, rides in it. But, yeah, at this show, they had the full... Panache Place Voltron, where it's like it's the same Black Lion that I had, but it's like the full thing, and it's got the thing I like about it. It's got these like cockpits where you can put an action figure. So you can put like a Voltron action figure, but you can also put a Star Wars figure. You could put one of these like it's that Star Wars scale. So that's kind of cool, and it's like the proportions of it, like in sort of the robot collecting world. This one is like looked down a little bit. It's not the definitive Voltron toy.
What's the one you pointed out? Like it was
the Matchbox one, because the Matchbox one, like the proportions of the Matchbox one are they're more pleasing proportions.
I think that's the one I always wanted.
Yeah, that was the Matchbox. That's not the one I always wanted. The Matchbox one. So it's interchangeable. It's got all the lions, but you can't stick an action figure inside it. So and the Matchbox one is, comes from one of like the Japanese designs, one of the designs that Bandai did. And so those, like the engineering on those like Bandai robots are always phenomenal. So it's like perfectly engineered. Everything clicks together in like a very satisfying way. But the Panache Place one, it wasn't designed by Bandai. It was designed, it was designed in America. So it's not, the engineering's not as good, but it's still pretty cool. And it is
more
like
play value, maybe.
Yeah, and it's the one I'm nostalgic for because that was the one I wanted. And again, the fact that, it breaks up into the lions and you can have cockpits that you're actually. So I got that one, and I got it for like $45, which is like really good. Like that was a good price.
Yeah, they like it was like double that, I think. I don't know how you.
Yeah, from the one toy show to the next. Like I saw that for $45 and I snagged it. I did like a first pass. I was like, but I figured when I came back it would be gone, but it was still there, so I got it. But then the second toy show we went to, they had a bunch of those, and they were like $90, $100.
Yeah.
It was so I got it the right.
Well, now like I'm getting into the toy show groove now. Because like when we went to that first one, the first table, I was just like, right. Not the first thing I saw, and like
but sometimes you don't jump on that first one and then you regret it. So it's
walking a tightrope.
Yeah,
I can't wait to go to the next one. But like you also got a couple things we had our eyes on too, which down the road I might snag. It's the Droid Factory. I kept seeing that over.
Well, all that Star Wars stuff. It feels like the Star Wars, those like original Kenner Star Wars toys have kind of plateaued or something, where there was a point where they were became unobtainably expensive, but it feels like it's come down, like the cachet of Star Wars has kind of cooled a little bit. So it does kind of astound me where it's like you can get that like original Tatooine playset with like the cardboard sand crawler in the background. That's pretty reasonable. And yeah, the droid factory.
The Ewok villages at the last one were relatively reasonable.
Yeah, because Ewok Village for a while was like, it was like $200 or something.
Yeah, and like we got to see USS Flag. I never saw it in person.
Yeah, I saw it like I knew a kid who had it, but it was very impressive to see. And unlike a lot of things, it was bigger than I remember. Because I remember it being immense, but it was like, wow, because, you get older and then you grow, things don't seem, but it looked pretty big. And the guy had it, he had like a bunch of like the Tomahawk helicopters on it. So it looks so good with
scale.
Yeah, like you're not getting your money's worth out of your USS Flag if you don't have like a bunch of G.I. Joe, like the Awe Striker or whatever, like a bunch of them like on the deck.
I could have used that. Actually, that probably would have won if I used that in Scouts and anything that floats race.
Right, yeah.
I could have like rode in it. Like
I wonder if it is like a bath toy. If like the USS Flag would like it's the size of a bathtub, so you probably couldn't fit it in.
Francis from Pee-wee's at his pool.
At some point, we might have to do an episode about just this, but like. We're playing. We got playing over here the Dick Van Dyke
Gabriel Toys.
Gabriel Toys like infomercial. It's like one of these like little movies they play to get like stores interested in buying your toys. And so I looked at it. I found it because I wanted to see the commercial for Shoots Away. Like I remember like that seemed like such a cool game. But then it has this infomercial and it's the Hal Needham playset.
It's fucking
it's
awesome.
A Hal Needham doll. And then this whole like Western saloon with all these like breakaway windows and stuff,
and stairs and tables and stuff.
And the Hal Needham doll, like I always thought like Hal Needham was like this super obscure figure that Quentin Tarantino was aware of because he's such like a cinema expert or whatever, and that he sort of pulled him out of obscurity. But it turns out like Hal Needham had a doll,
fucking toy, like a huge.
And it seems like they were probably thinking like, okay. Evel Knievel.
Yes.
What can we do to compete? And so they come up with the Hal Needham doll, and the functionality of it looks pretty cool because he like tucks and rolls.
I love that when he like and then he does a dive off the balcony, and he's got a whole crew with him, like a film crew.
Yeah,
and then you got Leslie Easterbrook from Callahan from Police Academy is in this.
The toy show. It's cool going to a toy show with you too because. We both have like our things so it's like I get to learn a little bit about like you were spotting some stuff that like some of it I didn't even know
same
about.
With me, like I'm learning like like you gave me the whole there was the thing that you actually got. It was the space shuttle.
Oh yeah, the Fisher Price.
I was like, that is fucking sick.
They were selling this like box of Fisher Price space stuff, and there's the Fisher Price space shuttle. And when I was a kid, like that was one of my big regrets. It was my birthday, and my mom took me to the toy store. It was Kitty City. That was like the Philadelphia toy store, and it's also one of those things. Like I guess kids now could probably relate to it because it's like Kitty City. It was this amazing toy store. And then just as I was like learning about it and going there, it goes out of business. Now it was replaced, like Toys R Us filled the void, but like, there's kids now who like, just as they're learning about Toys R Us, boom, it went away. So, but it was like that, but Kitty City, but my mom took me to
Children's Palace.
That was like and I think it might've even been the same company, like Children's Palace and Kitty City might've been the same company. And that was just like the name of it here. But, cause like they went out of business at the same time. But it was Lionel.
Toys R Us filled the void of that one too.
Yeah, it was Lionel Kitty City. Now, was Children's Palace Lionel Children's Palace?
I'm not sure. They had a great facade. That's where I saw the Skeletor and He-Man in costume there.
Well, that's amazing. Kitty City, like the emblem was like a kangaroo with like a joey in the pouch. And then Toys R Us had a giraffe. So it's almost like they were kind of like, okay, what animal?
Paul Hogan's in there.
Yeah, what zoo animals left? But so my mom, like, it was like the tradition on my birthday, my mom would take me to Kitty City and I could pick out whatever toy I wanted. And so I like almost got the Fisher Price space shuttle, but I like got something. So it was like my big regret. Oh, why didn't I get the Fisher Price space shuttle? So like, it was this box, had the Fisher Price space shuttle, and then had a bunch of these like cool, like 70s Fisher Price space vehicles all in it. And I think it was like $70 or something for this box. And it was one of those ones I spotted it early. I'm like, I don't know, And then like later on, as like the show was winding down, it's like, I'm going to get that. And I came back, and then when I came back, there was like somebody else looking at it and showing somebody else like, hey, look, like, oh, it's the Fisher-Price Space Nickel. And I thought like, oh man, I missed it. And then they moved on to something else. And I was like, yes, grab it.
The guys in there are the same probably scale as like the Imagine X almost.
They're the same. They're like the same scale as like Star Wars too. So you get these super cool like moon buggy vehicles that are like half practical, like half conceivably real and half fantastical,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they can double as Star Wars. It was kind of like, it was like 79 or something when this stuff started coming out. Now, when I saw the Fisher-Price Space Shuttle when I was a kid, it wasn't the 79 one. I'm like too young for that, but it was like they reissued it a little late, because like in 79 it was like the Space Shuttle was this projected like possible thing that like NASA's working on. And then when I was a kid, it was brought back when like the Space Shuttle was like a real thing.
Yeah.
So it was,
that's cool that it was like on the cusp of like tech. You're like, this could happen one day.
Yeah. And because even though it was the 80s and there was really a space shuttle, it was the same, it was just like a reissue of the 70s one. So it's like close to a real space shuttle, but it's also a little bit like sci-fi'd up, which is kind of a nice sweet spot. And I grabbed that.
Those figures had like Lee Major's hair.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because they're like part of the Fisher-Price adventure thing. So like, it's like, okay, they got the toys for like little kids, and then they're trying to come up with like toys for like kids that are like a little older. So they're like, Star Wars scale, adventure scale. And like we had a bunch of them. It was like the Fisher-Price adventure guys, and they'd have like, Jungle Safari or whatever. And they always, they looked like, they all looked like my grandfather or something. Like they were these kind of like husky, like man's man kind of, like they weren't like the kind of, they weren't like
brawny man.
Yeah, they weren't like spry, young, kind of like hip characters. They were more like, like a little gray temple.
Oh, the gray temple.
Belt buckle, the kind of like thick around the middle, kind of, beefy characters. Yeah, like the brawny guy or something. Like the brawny guy would have been too hip.
He's like the bartender in like some like hip restaurant.
Yeah, they got like the mutton chop sideburns. But so I grabbed those, and then at the same table they had the O-Ranger Megazord, and so I just kind of like cut a deal of like, okay, the Fisher-Price and so I got like a nice deal on that.
That's another fun aspect. I like bartering or like.
Well, yeah, I was down to like
and
the last couple bucks in my wallet, and I was like, okay, this is all I got in my wallet. Like, will you take it? Like, yeah, sure.
Not like being a super haggler, but like.
Yeah, I mean, I was never a big haggler either, but it seemed like everybody kind of came there, like the sellers all came there with it, because so many times they would like just sort of offer that where they'd be like, oh yeah, that price that's on there, that's like the store price, that
it's
I
like
sell
the
it at my store. But
I'll,
we can work something out.
I love doing that, and I got some stuff too.
Yeah, I really like. I was there for some of your finds, and then we kind of split up and went our own way for a bit. So you also got some finds that I'm not aware of. So this is cool. I'm
going to show you some stuff that
and we can put this under the umbrella of Recalltiques
Roadshow. It's one of our best segments.
Yes.
We love Recalltiques.
Yeah, it might become a spin-off of its we got some interest from the television.
I got a surprise for you.
A Smurf! Oh, this is awesome.
So I knew.
Yeah, that's awesome. A Smurf. I remember this Smurf. Yeah, like Smurf stuff was like everywhere when I was a kid. And we had like a million Smurf things. And then I don't think any of it survived. Thanks so much, Matt. This is awesome.
No problem.
I love this genre
I always love that
doll.
gimmick.
Yeah.
My grandmother had different dolls like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, we had a bunch like this too. I feel like this is like almost like a medieval,
toy.
Leonardo da Vinci invented it or something, and it's like, they would have had like, Pinocchio in Italy back in the old days, or maybe
Archimedes had that in Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, exactly. This is great. And I love the vintage Smurfs stuff. Like it's like, the proportions and the color, the specific blue. Like this is a blue that is getting close to green.
Yeah,
it's like teal. Like you don't find this blue anymore, man. Thanks so much, man.
No problem. I wanted to surprise it.
Yeah, that's a great surprise. That's awesome. Thanks so much, man.
No problem.
There he is. There he is, generic Smurf.
And I didn't read the font on there.
Helm is the name, so it's probably some Belgian company or something.
This is like one of the main things my favorites from both shows.
Parasites.
So this toy, like one of the sad things, I guess, about, I don't know if it's sad, but about the internet is like stuff that you thought you imagined or dreamed. Mm-hmm. You can kind of like find out.
Yeah, you can get a quick confirmation. Which is a gift and a curse.
Yeah, this toy was one I thought I had imagined.
Okay, yeah,
and I own this.
It is so bizarre. Yeah,
I always thought when I was thinking back, I only rediscovered what it was like weeks before the toy show. Mm-hmm. I thought this was a fold-upable Voltron orange tiger or orange lion that went inside there for basically 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I could see thinking that, yeah.
I always thought it was Voltron related, but I don't know why it would be inside a car.
Well, it is Matchbox, and like Matchbox was, there was a lot of Voltron Matchbox stuff back in the day.
So the I didn't realize this backstory too. Like, this is like some hand-drawn like box art. It says Parasite, evil creatures from the tail of Halley's Comet.
Yeah, that was part of like Halley's Comet mania in I guess like 86 was like 86 would have been like the countdown to 87 when Halley's Comet.
Is that when it came by?
Halley's Comet was 87. Yeah.
When's that coming back around?
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, it was like it'll be 75 years before the next time it comes around. And I remember thinking like, oh wow, that's a long way, but not too much longer.
Like, so this kind of like, this was 85. The Stephen King story that the Maximum Overdrive was based off came in the 70s, but the movie wasn't until 86. And in that movie, the comet brings the cars to life. So maybe somebody was like vibing off of Parasite.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Like they're trying to gauge the zeitgeist and yeah.
But Extermicite.
That's great. Yes, it is a very cool looking toy. I like the concept of it. And I guess they're trying to get in on that sort of Transformers, but trying to come up with like a new wrinkle and stuff. Yeah, which is kind of cool.
And it's Matchbox, so it's pretty awesome. I always thought because you get a Transformer and a Matchbox car.
I think where they kind of blew it again, like we know now how important the mythology is, and the fact that they're all evil. Like that's kind of cool that they're all evil. Yeah. But if you had good guys and bad guys, might have given it some legs, And it looks almost like the A-Team van.
Oh, I love that, yeah.
So it's this robot that folds up and fits inside of here. Very cool.
It's super cool. So yeah, this is one of my favorites. And then, I don't think you saw this, I got the G.I. Joe
party wear. Look at this. With Sergeant Slaughter front and center. So we got Sergeant Slaughter, Roadblock, and General Hawk. And you got a loot bag. Well, Matt, your next. I know your birthday is not for a while, but
we're gonna use this.
Yeah, I want to see this stuff at your birthday party.
Yeah, like I got it, like because I bought a bunch of stuff, and I was like, "Hey, can you get a good deal on that?" I got this for like a few bucks.
Yeah, I have a friend who collects that kind of stuff, and from that era too. And so they'll have like these parties and. There'll be like strawberry shortcake or something, plates or something, or Superman, from the 80s.
Thought you would enjoy it.
That is amazing, Matt. This is a real find.
I was so happy.
This is treasure because this isn't. It's nice when they bring this kind of stuff to a toy show too because it's not super obvious. It's like there's a million people selling all the G.I. Joe figures and stuff, but like I didn't see that. I didn't see that. That was great. That was a great find.
We have some American Gladiators.
Oh, cool! American Gladiators. Have you seen the documentary yet?
Not yet.
You got to see. I mean, you're not doing your due diligence. You got to see that. And they talk about the merchandising for this. They look like pretty cool toys. Like there's, oh man, and
they got a helmet.
Yeah, detachable helmets and stuff. But yeah, we'll bring these guys back for the
American Gladiators.
This is Laser. A gladiator, and then this is
an accountant.
This is Blue Contestant. Yeah. Well, in the documentary, you learned that the contestants a lot of the times were almost like, guys who could have been gladiators but weren't.
Okay.
So like, it wasn't like the gladiators would steamroll over the contestants. Sometimes the contestant would like injure the gladiator or something. All the gladiators say how they didn't get like a fucking dime from any, and like that the producers kept telling them like, oh, the show is not profitable, sorry, we can't give you a raise or anything. But meanwhile, they go down the aisle of the toy store and see like their likeness,
used in
all over. You have like Laser, the gladiator, and then you have your place here, so you can like
put your picture.
You can put your photo there and pretend that's you challenging. Laser.
I got some cards, vintage cards.
Oh, very cool. Dinosaurs Attack. So this was one of those concepts that they had, I think, in like the 50s or 60s of like, they had Mars Attacks. So it was like a whole story told in cards with these paintings by Wally Wood and stuff. And then they had a Dinosaurs Attack. And then I guess this is like an 80s reissue. So I don't remember if it was like the same art or if it was like completely new art, or if it was like the old art, but then maybe they'd airbrush over like some like 80s reference. So like a punk rocker instead of like an Elvis style rockabilly guy getting eaten by a dinosaur.
Do you, these are from 1988. Do you want to open?
And then Jaws 3D.
From 1983.
1983, a great year.
From Topps. Do you want to open
with a 3D viewer inside? That'll come in handy because like you can never have enough
3D viewers.
3D viewers, especially the red and blue because everything's green and. Red.
Should we open this up?
Yeah, open it up. The gums, man, that gum was the best.
I'm gonna try to eat. This gum's from 1988.
This like we're becoming one of those like extreme YouTube shows where it's like people doing like self-harm. You're like gonna eat that on camera.
Dude, this gum was made the year my brother was born.
Yeah, so wow.
Let's see here.
That gum is as old as your brother.
Yeah, 1988 this gum is from.
Now, Matt, just as a friend, I'm going to tell you, don't eat that gum. If you eat that gum, it's against my
better
advice. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to put it in my mouth, but...
Well, first of all, there's like some kind of like mold or something growing on this. I don't know if that's from the gum or...
Let's take a look here.
Yeah,
you're...
I mean, it's definitely like 80s guys. Like, that's like an 80s...
like Wall Street.
Yeah, Wall Street guy in there. So I can't tell if... And then, yeah, this is like kind of like an April O'Neil, kind of like 80s. But this must be... So I'm assuming these are like new... This is like a new thing, not like some reissue. And I think this is some of the stuff that like Art Spiegelman worked on. Like, when he was doing like Garbage Pail Kids and stuff. I think he was involved in this stuff too. And look, you get these great... Some of them have like a little... fake newspaper headline in the background, and then great storytelling. Yeah, it's an interesting, just as sort of like a comics creator, it's like an interesting way of telling a visual story in the form of these cards. Like, okay,
no, I'm not gonna do.
Yeah, like, we're going into like Gonzo.
This is from 1988. Territory. This gum, I can't believe.
Yeah, I like anytime like people sell these things, they're always like, "Do not eat the gum." Like, there's always like a and I'm sure the person who sold it to you under the proviso that you do not eat the gum. But man, I loved that gum, and like I can still taste.
Me too.
Like it's all I can do to not eat that.
I know,
but it's man, what a great and the gum kind of mixes with the pulpy, like cheap cardboard of the cards and just kind of blends into it. So like the cards have like the aroma of the gum, of the sugar embedded, and then the gum has the flavor of like teak.
The tannins.
Yeah.
Like you go up to a table and it's like you recommend it's like let's do it.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, it's so funny because, like, this is from the year of my birth.
Okay.
And that's from the year of my brother's birth.
Right, so the gum in there is as old as you.
Oh my god.
That's your twin. That's your twin. That gum in there is your twin.
Well, I can't wait till we cover the Jaws 3D movie. There we go. Bazooka, we mentioned Bazooka earlier. Yeah. Bazooka has it all. So get a handful today. Topps chewing gum. 1983 MCA. Holy shit!
Let's see it.
Oh my god. Whoa, that does have an air.
1983 air. Yeah, you're getting that. It's like you unsealed the Ark of the Covenant. You know.
I look up at the camera. My eyes are glowing.
Yeah, that's the plot of a movie. Somebody opens up an old pack of cards.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
And it starts some like zombie infestation.
Shit,
look at these. These are kid size too. These are they. You know, they work. It's like opera glasses.
Holy shit, look what fell out.
Oh, that gum is pristine, too.
This is as old as I am.
Yeah, that's your twin.
Down the hatch. Wow, I gotta put this in a fucking, I gotta vacuum seal this.
My like, producer side is like, Matt, eat that gum. But then my friend side is like, Matt, please don't eat that gum.
Yeah, I got 40-year-old gum.
It's ready to I mean, what would be the harm? I mean, it was never food to begin with, but it's got to have. I mean, maybe even smelling it is bad. You know,
well,
here's some, like airborne fungus. I guess we'll have to do some hunting, but I'm sure there are other nostalgia-based YouTube shows where people do eat the gum, and that might even be the entirety of the. So yeah, you get these cool like red and blue. Images. The 3D is probably better on these cards than it is in the movie. And it looks like the 3D is working.
Super cool.
I'm seeing some depth here. Invading SeaWorld. So they didn't photos on the front, you know, from the movie, but they're not 3D. But the back has like a 3D drawing.
Catherine Morgan offers a snack to her friend, the killer whale Shamu. That's so sick. It's so sick that SeaWorld gave their
okay to like this harm. That's probably why it's not a very like gory or brutal movie. Like I don't think anything bad really happens in Jaws 3D. You know, it's probably because they're like, okay, you can't have anything too crazy going on or we won't give you our seal of approval.
Oh, this guy here, Philip Fitzroyce. He's like the adventurer guy.
So it says in search of Overman.
Fitzroyce and Jack Tate suit up. I remember in the spoiler alert, Jaws 3, at the end of the movie...
Well, I think the fact that there's a Jaws 4 is already like a spoiler for Jaws 3.
Someone's like, I haven't seen Jaws. like Fitzroyce gets eaten by Jaws, and he's like hanging around, and Jaws is bad at swallowing, so Fitzroyce is just like in his mouth, and... He had these things, I don't know if they're he called them nose bombs. Mm-hmm. and they had to like use a hook to like pull the pin on the grenade that he's like in. But he always said he had nose bombs. It's those things he's got on his belt right there.
Okay. Now, like, it's been a while since I saw Jaws 3D, but I remember it being like the gentlest Jaws movie. Like, I didn't did he get eaten in the after credits scene that I missed or something? Because I don't remember anybody getting like even a scratch during that movie.
There's a little bit of Jaws chewing on people.
Okay.
But it is relatively tame compared.
Yeah, and it's not even like, oh, there's a huge amount of like tension. And it's like, it's not what you see, it's what you don't see. But it's not even that. It's like just very, you know.
And like, I'm at Swan Lake, and I have like these on the thing, and I'm like,
on a stick. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do that. You got to like add a stick to that, and that's like your thing, you know. That's your affectation.
Well, Tom, like, I got a couple other ones here. I've always wanted...
Yeah, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So, like, yeah, these are cool. And this is like... Okay, there's no more Star Wars movies. So, like, what's Kenner gonna do to keep the lights on? So it's like, okay, let's go deep with Robin Hood. Really nice looking action figures.
So, like, when I was little, my buddy Colin had these, and the way it felt was like him and his brothers were getting the Robin Hood things. Mm-hmm. So, like, we could get other we would have access to so we got to play with them through him, and like,
these could double as like your Lord of the Rings figures or something.
Yeah,
this guy could be a hobbit,
and like You got Azim, Little John. Like, you know, him and his brothers collected the Robin Hood figures, so we got to play with them there. But I never had them.
No Robin Hood himself. I get the feeling that Robin Hood, it's kind of like, you know, he's like the hardest one to find. It's like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
These are great figures, though. They got like these cloth outfits. Again, like they're flush with all this Star Wars cash, and now Star Wars is done. So it's like, okay, we gotta maybe reinvest a little bit. And yeah, and so that's the famous thing, is that the Robin Hood's, you know, Merry Men Village is Ewok Village. The Sherwood Forest playset is Ewok Village.
The Ripper.
Yeah, I saw there was like from Last Action Hero, and they had like the Arnold one too. So if you want just like just like Arnold as Arnold, you could get that one. What was Arnold's character?
Jack Slater. Look at this the cool art on the back, and then there's a quote from Jack.
Now, how come, you know, if Last Action Hero is supposed to be like a semi-autobiographical, like a fourth wall breaking kind of thing, how come his name isn't like Slatenheimer Dusendorfer or something, you know? Why is it Slate?
We should do we gotta do a vinyl of our John Denver episode.
Yeah, like a vinyl pressing, like on audio. I thought you meant like a vinyl statue of like John Denver with his arm around.
Bandcamp does their vinyl for like $250. We should release the John Denver episode as a vinyl side.
As like what is 80-gram vinyl?
80-gram vinyl. Which we gotta do the John Denver.
Yeah, and we got to have like a bobblehead. John Denver with Martin Cove in a headlock, you know. And so John Denver's head bobbles, and then Martin Cove's head in the headlock bobbles. Funco, get in touch with us, and we'll do
an 80-gram vinyl.
So we'll do a vinyl statuette of that, and then a vinyl album. What's you know, Jack White? Get in touch with us for the 80-gram vinyl
of the John Denver Higher Ground episode. Track listings. It's like track 7. I'm gonna crack your
like a Denver omelet. This is turning into an epic episode, and we got an epic. Look at that. So man, I mean, a Conan action figure. I didn't know these existed.
Me neither.
But it's this like giant, like beefy Conan. It's not quite the same size, but you can tell they were going for like the WWF, you know, figures where it's like let's get this big beefy Conan
Hasbro. And then look at the back. Look at the other figures in the line.
Conan the Explorer. Now, I remember at the show, they were also selling like Ninja Conan.
Yeah.
Which is a step too far. Like Ninja Conan's a tough sell.
Yeah.
Or maybe Ninja Conan's the one everybody wants. What? I don't know, because it's just so out there. This would be Conan on like a galleon, you know, sailing for, you know, some misty island and stuff.
From Hasbro.
But yeah, he's like huge, like those fling 'em sling 'em wrestling ring guys, but still posable. You know, the arms and legs can move.
And even on the back, look, it's so fresh. There's new stuff that hasn't even been. They don't even have any images for it yet.
Yeah, it's like top secret. Like we are not going to tell you what that is. He's got some kind of lever or something, and then these two weapons has this like scimitar, and then some kind of.
I thought he was too awesome looking to pass up.
Yeah, I mean that's something. Is the helmet removable or no?
No. It looks like
his head. Yes, head doesn't turn at all, but the arms and legs, just from like working out too much, he can't turn his head.
He's been working out with Michael Keaton, Batman.
Yeah, he's like the Batman suit in human form.
And the final toy here is from the Masks toy line. It's the Firefly with Julio Lopez. Always wanted this thing.
I liked the helmets, the sort of the masks that they came with, and yeah, there he is, and then it comes off, and
I couldn't beat the price on that.
Face there,
but the helmet I realized is a little broken, so I reordered a replacement helmet for it.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's got some like little air pockets on the side that I thought were part of the design, but yeah, I guess it is broken a little bit, but. I remember this one having like a pretty good price.
Yeah.
You got it for a pretty good price. Like I don't remember this vehicle. I remember I had the green motorcycle.
Me too.
That was like accessible because it was like $7 or something back then. So it was like, okay, and I remember the red car, I remember the truck. But yeah, I don't remember this one. This is a pretty cool.
Rubber tires.
Oh yeah.
Goodyear.
Oh, yeah.
This says Goodyear on the side. Pretty neat. And then
yeah, show me how it transforms. I mean,
so
the
wings,
transformations are usually pretty simple on these, but
and then these two fold out here on the front.
Oh, to like expose a gun or something. I see, like that. So yeah, so there's like little front wings and this little gun that can like move back and forth.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool transformation.
Yeah. And fly that becomes a jet.
Very, very playable, and yeah, the rubber tires are a nice touch.
Yeah, and I love the colors on it too.
Yeah, great colors. Yeah, you don't see a lot of orange.
And like this toy and Mirage from Transformers, I like the open wheel race cars.
Yeah, like a Indy car or something. Yeah, that looks kind of like a cross between like an Indy car and a dune buggy.
Yeah, like we had dune buggy action. But there it is, Firefly. So that's our haul from the toy shows.
What a range! This is an amazing range of stuff because yeah, you got Mask, Conan, Last Action Hero, Robin Hood, American Gladiators. I mean, we're gonna have to have a very special episode where we cover the American Gladiator documentary. You're gonna like that one.
And we got trading cards, and this piece of gum is as old as I am. That I guess this is a testament to don't swallow.
Yeah,
gum.
this is going in like our archives, and maybe like the part of the archives that we put on display. Like we could have the museum show.
So, whoops.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Jaws. This was in Oppenheimer. That he had this gum. He put it in the center.
Yeah, that was right in the middle. And they're like very gingerly lowering it in there. I saw Oppenheimer. We'll have to do an Oppenheimer episode, talk about Oppenheimer. So yeah, I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee, and Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, The Adventures of Adam Star and the Solar Legion. All three of those books are available for pre-order by following the pre-order links in the show notes below.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
And please follow me on Twitter @Tom Scioli, on Instagram @Tom_Scioli, and support my Patreon. Go to patreon.com and search Tom Scioli.
Follow the show on Instagram @total_recall_show. 40-year-old gum. Huh. That's so awesome. Somebody
happy birthday to that gum.
Yeah, happy birthday. And this is 88.
You know, it was like bad enough when, we were in like college or like early 20s or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, don't eat that gum. But it's been a lot of years since that. So.
Yeah. And it's nice, like, having like some connection. It's like,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you like boil that gum and then try it, because it might turn into like a regular stick of gum if you boil it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like what crazy stuff could be growing on there.
Yeah, but we should put it under a microscope.
Yeah, that's like a Mythbusters episode or something, where they're like, can you die from eating like